and welcome to the Love MEESH Podcast. I am your host, Meesh. There are a billion people in the world, and I'm just one of them. And welcome to my podcast, where I'll share my thoughts, opinions, and ramblings, and sometimes I'll have guests, and no subject is off limits. So let the conversation begin. Mimi, go Mimi. It's the MEESH Podcast. Hey, go me, go Mimi.
High regard as a god. Other people think that he's the devil reincarnate. He's probably somewhere in between, as with anything, but he's below the level of 200. Now, the level of 200 is the first major development of consciousness. So 200 is the level of courage. It represents a profound shift from destructive and harmful behavior to life-promoting and integrous lifestyles. Using kinesiology, everything below 200 makes your body go weak, which proves falsity. There's no truth in it, or little truth. Anything above 200 allows the body to remain strong. So currently, approximately 78% of the world's population is below 200, meaning 22% is above that level. Because of the logarithmic nature of consciousness, one person at level 600 counterbalances 10 million people below 200. So in essence, enlightened beings at higher levels of consciousness stop humanity from destroying itself, essentially. That's an important thing to know. So the level at 200 is the point of falsity moving into truthhood. So when Dr. David Hawkins said to discern between truth and falsity.
Hey loves, and welcome to another episode of Love MEESH Podcast. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the map of consciousness. This was inspired by a couple of videos and people talking about this particular subject. And it's based on the book by David R. Hawkins, MD, PhD. Now, when I tell you, you could be looking at a video, they'll be talking about so many different things. You just write them down. It just takes you down a wormhole. I cannot tell you how many books. Y'all, I'm up to $2,000 in my Amazon cart. And some of the stuff is like, end of the world preparation, like seeds and batteries and solar panels. But for the most part, it's books, okay? And it's like, I got another book today. I got the Holographic Universe by Michael Ttyl, and I'm going to read that next. But I have to pace myself where I'll be ordering all these books and they'll be sitting on the bookshelf. I actually want to get through the books. So I read one book and then my reward is to order another book because I don't want all these books just sitting. But I'm so excited about this book, and as I was reading it, y'all, I was tearing up because I really do feel like universe. I think I be rushing information so much, but I feel like what I have learned so far is the way that it works is there's levels. Like when you play a video game, when you get past level 1, let's think about Sonic. You get all your gold coins, you run past your checkpoints, you get to save a life. If you die, you get to come back there. But at the end, you get to go to the next level. And I think the highest level I remember getting to was the casino, where you got to fight the big man with the mustache. And I think I never got past that particular level. But bringing it back to the podcast, information. When you learn one topic and you get to a specific level in that topic, there's a door. And you can open that door and go to the next level. If you have questions about other stuff, until you get to that level, those answers won't come to you until you get past it. You got to get to the door, because I feel like it's a stepping stone. One level of information is a stepping stone to the next, and you're literally building a staircase out of this illusionist ass world. But this book was just so interesting. I love everything about this book. I feel like it's confirmation that I've reached another level in awareness, in life, in consciousness, whatever you want to call it, in growth, in love and spirituality, whatever you want to name it. And it feels like I was in a dark place for a while, just not even personally. Yeah, I went through some things personally, emotionally, but just the knowledge that I was learning just was so dark and dreary and scary and frightening and heartbreaking and just dark and evil. Like, this really is the world we live in. And then when I came across this, it's like it was like a light at the end of the tunnel. Like, things are starting to get happier and brighter, like as far as the information I'm learning, and that's making me happy. So I have a couple of quotes that I wanted to go over, and then I'm gonna, when I read my books, I be highlighting. So then I'm gonna read you some of the things that I highlighted in the book, and hopefully you'll be encouraged to go get a copy of the Map of Consciousness Explained by Dr. R. Hawkins. And every time I find somebody, they be like, dead. Can I meet somebody alive, universe, and actually go to their seminar and take a picture with them and shake their hand and ask questions? Like, damn, everybody I meet is dead. But I'm thankful that, and this is why I think whatever we learn in our life, either you leave a song, you leave a video, you leave a picture, you leave artwork, you leave a podcast, you leave a movie, you leave a recording, you leave a video, you leave something, because although you're going on to the next dimension, just like that Dora was talking about, these things stay. And let's say he only did seminars and nobody recorded them and there were no books. I just would have missed out on that information unless I actually sat down and somebody told me about a time that was at one of his seminars. But because he wrote a book, this book is traveling the whole wide world and it reached me. So I'm thankful for things like books and movies and stuff like that, because although he's gone, like, a piece of him is still here, so I have so many of those that I need to get out. It's ridiculous at this point, but I think I like talking more, so I'm pretty sure one day I'm just going to sit down, because when I was growing up, you had to write papers, you typed them. Now when you open up Word, it's a little recorder, and as you talk, that bit is typing for you. So I think one day I'm just going to sit down, press record, talk, and then turn in the book. I have one that I need to go ahead and finish already. But with this particular book, because it's getting me to see things in a lighter, more bubbly manner, I think I'm going to redo the book, because it's a little dark, it's a little bitter, it's a little jealous, it's a little hateful, it's a little mean and crude. I think I'm going to revamp it, put some more light and love in it, and then complete it. So see how everything happens for a reason. If I had put it out there, I probably had to do a print too. Now I can put it out there exactly how it's supposed to be without worrying about the first print or the first edition. Okay, so these are some quotes that I've gathered, and then I'm going to read the book. So, one individual who lives and vibrates to the energy of optimism and a willingness to be non-judgmental of others will center balance the negativity of 90,000 individuals who calibrate at the lower weakening levels. I would like to read that one more time if you don't mind. One individual who lives and vibrates to the energy of optimism and a willingness to be non-judgmental of others will counterbalance the negativity of 90,000 individuals who calibrate at the lower weakening levels. Do you guys know how amazing that is? So even though the world is dark and dreary, we really need to give homage, praise, thanks, prayers, love, light, energy to monks, because they are away from all the madness and all the distractions, and they sit quietly and they meditate on love and peace and harmony and protection. And one of them is lifting up 90,000 people, and there's probably millions of them. I'm going to continue. One individual who lives and vibrates to the energy of pure love and reverence for all of life will counterbalance the negativity of 750,000 individuals who calibrate at the lower weakening levels. So if you thought optimism and non-judgmental was amazing, look at pure love and reverence for all sentient life. It went from 90K to 750K. I'll continue. One individual who lives and vibrates to the energy of illumination, bliss, and infinite peace will counterbalance the negativity of 10 million people who calibrate at the lower weakening levels. One individual who lives and vibrates to the energy of grace, pure spirit, beyond the body, in a world of complete oneness will counterbalance the negativity of 70 million people who calibrate at the lower weakening levels. You guys. Oh my God. We have got this whole life thing completely fucked up. Like, seriously. They got us fighting and screaming, and we all focused on low vibrational things. It's less and less people lifting us up. It's less and less people lifting us up. Like, for real. Okay, let me do something real quick. I just thought that was amazing. And my period being on hello. I know it's too much information. I just came from insomnia cookies. I got 2 cookies. I got a sprinkle cookie and I got a chocolate cookie. And this is my second time getting cookies. I'm like, I haven't had cravings like this in a very long time. Like, it was like 2 something and it was about to close. And the man was just like, you can get the cookies. I didn't even have to pay. I was like, thank you. Every time I go in there, they don't be having my vegan cookies ready. Now, if I go in there one more time and them vegan cookies ain't ready, I'm going to write a little letter. Okay? I'm going to have to write me a little letter to the manager. Like, I don't know what you people doing. I don't know what your little people's doing. But these cookies is not ready for your customers. Okay? I'm going to need you to have my cookies on standby. Okay? Okay, so I'm in a couple of Telegram groups. And this message was just so amazing. I want to share with my people. David R. Hawkins. I just thought that was a freaking amazing revelation. Okay, so let me continue. This is going to be a little bit long, y'all. I'll try to breeze through it, though. Dr. David Hawkins writes, in this interconnected universe, every improvement we make in our private world improves the world at large for everyone. We all float on the collective level of consciousness of mankind so that any increment we add comes back to us. We all add to our common buoyancy by our efforts to benefit life. It is a scientific fact that what is good for you is good for me. Dr. Hawkins has backed up his remarks and conclusions with 29 years of hard research. In essence, every single person, as well as large groups of people, can be calibrated for their energy levels. Generally speaking, low energy people cannot distinguish truth from falsehood. They can be told how to think, whom to hate, whom to kill, and they can be herded into groupthink mentality based on such trivial details as what side of the river they were born on, and what their parents and their grandparents believe. The shape of their eyes and hundreds of other factors have to do with their opinions and total identification with their material world. Hawkins tells us that approximately 87% of humanity calibrates at a collective energy level that weakens them. The higher up the ladder of frequency vibration, the fewer people there are in those higher levels. The highest levels are represented by the truly great persons who originated spiritual patterns that multitudes had followed throughout the ages. They're associated with divinity, and they set in motion attractor energy fields that influence all mankind. Just below the energy levels of pure enlightenment are the energy levels associated with the experience designated as transcendence, self-realization of a God consciousness. Here's where those who are called saintly reside. Just below this level is the place of pure joy, and the hallmark of this state is compassion. Those who attain this level have more of a desire to use their consciousness for the benefit of life itself rather than for particular individuals. Below these supremely high levels, which fewer ever attain in a permanent way, are the levels of unconditional love, kindness, and acceptance of everyone. Below the levels of energy that strengthen us are the low levels of energy: anger, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, hatred, judgment, and shame. All of which weaken and impact us in such a way as to inhibit our connection to the universal energy level of Source. That's something to think about. All of those emotions, anger, fear, grief, apathy, guilt, hatred, judgment, and shame, are in the way of you and God. That's huge. One of the most fascinating aspects of this line of research is the idea of counterbalancing. High energy people counterbalance the negative effects of low energy people, but it doesn't happen on a one-to-one basis because of the 87% of humanity that's in the lower weakening frequencies. High energy people counterbalance the negative effects of low energy people, but it doesn't happen on a one-to-one basis because of the 87% of humanity that's in the lower weakening frequency. So in other words, 87% of humanity is lacking. And you got a small amount of high energy people picking up their slack. I remember in high school, every night or all through high school, I would do my homework, come, and somebody would always want to see my paper. So you mean to tell me that we just copying off of people's papers? Just floating by without doing the hard work? That's not fair. And if they didn't do that, we will be doomed. So we should be, if anybody should be worshiped, honored, and praised, it should be them. But nobody's talking about that now, are they? One person connected to Source can have an enormous impact on many people in the lower energy patterns. The higher up the scale you move toward actually being the light of enlightenment and knowing God consciousness, the more negativity vibrating energies you can counterbalance. Here are some fascinating figures from Dr. Hawkins' research for you to contemplate as you review the impact you can have on humanity simply by being on the higher rungs of the ladder. I would like to think that the higher you vibrate, the more you focus on higher things, higher energy, higher love, instead of those lower vibrating energies. It's almost like alchemy, because I'm pretty sure you still get mad, so you can turn that anger. You can use alchemy and transform that energy. Let's say you wake up in the morning, you're running a little bit late, you make coffee. As you're putting the coffee in the cup, it spills on you. You could be so angry and have to change and racing to work and honking people out, and it could just be a bad energy day. Or you can say, okay, let me breathe, let me slow down. I'm either gonna call and let my boss know that I'm gonna be late, or maybe this is a sign that I need to call out, or let's just breathe. I'm probably preventing an accident. You can kind of transmute that energy and still have high vibrations and get on through your day. This is why I'm so happy that I found this, because it's like universe, uni, energy, God, Source, angels, deities, God. They're like telling me, like, it's okay. It's okay that you learn all of this dark stuff. That's fine. Use it to protect yourself. But now, because you've learned that, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to give you some light to outshadow that dark. And I've never thought of things in this way. I didn't know that, throughout the day, I might send prayers to my friends and family. I'm pretty sure if I'm having a bad day and I pray, I'm not sending them as much energy as if I have high vibrations, I'm in good moods, and then I pray. I'm pretty sure I'm able to affect them more efficiently. In the same way that a small amount of individuals is helping counteract that negative energy. Like, I did not know this, y'all. I did not know this. So this is why people gravitate to the churches. Because that particular pastor, that particular bishop, that particular whatever the title is, has so much high energy, high vibration. It's raising the levels of that whole congregation in the church. We're thinking, oh my God, he's chosen by God to run this church and yada, yada, yada. And every time I come here every Sunday, I just feel good. Bitch, we all can do that. It's like, we all have that same effect. And I think it's a trick. It's a trick to have, even though there's a church on every corner, if you count up all the pastors in the world and, they're giving off their energy, that's not as effective if everybody in the church and all the churches and all the religions was giving off that energy. That's why it's a trick. They've taught us to put our energy in the pastor, who then puts the energy in God to rain down. No, that energy needs to burst through all of us, because it then touches all of us. Same way they want you to be 6 feet apart because Corona, that's the same way you spread that energy 6 feet apart. When I used to be mad, my sister used to do this guy, she said you could feel your energy in the whole house. Oh, I know. I know. I'm an empathic, so I feel. I don't need to get my nails done anymore because it used to hurt, and the man, woman, whoever do my nails will be catching an attitude like, bitch, I feel my nails. This shit hurt. Like, it feels like you're hurting. Like, my nails are a part of me. You're hurting me. A small piece of hair can touch my arm and I can feel it. It's just, I don't know. I've told you time and time again in all these podcasts, I really love touch. Touch is like one of my most heightened senses, and probably because I've been wearing glasses since 2nd grade. So, when one of your senses is low, another one of your senses picks up, and I think that became touch for me. Like, I don't know. I'm really in tune with touch. Like, I don't know. I can have a whole podcast on touch. I just love touch. But I did not know that. So I'm thankful that I've learned all of this dark stuff to kind of like protect myself. And now universe is showing me like lighter things. And I'm just happy about that. I really am. Okay, so now this says, there are beings in the spiritual realms for whom anxiety and fear emanating from human beings offer welcome food. We humans have no anxiety and fear. Then these creatures starve. If fear and anxiety radiate from people and they break out in panic, then these creatures find welcome nutrition and they become more and more powerful. These beings are hostile towards humanity. Everything that feeds on negative feelings or anxiety, fear, and superstition, despair, or doubt are in reality hostile forces in super sensitive worlds launching cruel attacks on human beings while they aren't being fed. By Rudolf Steiner. And I agree. There's positive and negative in everything, the whole yin yang. And if I can lift up humanity just by focusing on love and then that means I can lower humanity by focusing on those negative aspects as well. I mean, if it works one way, it has to work the other way. That's just how the world is. So they've taught us all of those lower levels, which is why we're in the predicament that we're in now. And no one's really focusing on those higher aspects. So I got the message a while ago. That's why I told you guys I was going to switch up the podcast. And to be funny, as I was looking back through my podcast, this is how I started. So I've noticed a pattern in my own life where I'm on a path of enlightenment, everything spirituality, love and life. And then I kind of veer off and I veer back in, I veer off. And I'm just like, wow, like I really, for whatever reason, I'll put it down and, just live life, party, and enjoy. when this is really like what I love. Like, this feels like home to me. Like, I can study this all day. If this was a job, it would be freaking amazing. I could do this every day. Like they say, find something that makes you money, find something that keeps you healthy, and find something that you enjoy, that makes you happy. This is my happy. I have a job, I work out, I exercise, and this is my happy. Like, I don't like just learning like random stuff anymore. Like, my whole major in college was like manager, supervisor, business administration, leadership. Like, at the end of the day, teaching somebody those skills is not really going to make a difference in their life, to me. But teaching them about spirituality, eating healthy, connecting with source, learning about different religions, getting their mind together, that's going to make the biggest impact in life. So I feel like I'm in preparation now for an advancement in my life. And I be wanting things so fast because I'm so impatient. But when I look at all the great people, like this man, Dr. R. Hawkins, he was a psychiatrist. You know, he put in years and years and years and years worth of study. And when he was supposed to be retiring, that's when his wife encouraged him, write a book, babe. And he started doing all the seminars up until the time that he died. Like, a lot of greats, after they've lived and trial and error and experience, they're able to like sit down and put all of that information in book format and then feed the world. So I'm happy to like live and enjoy the different stages of my life. But in my chart, in my numerology and everything, it says the way that I am going to be successful is by writing, teaching, and handling people's money. And I've already done a credit repair class. I'm working on myself first, because once I master 800, I want to be able to show others. I want that to be my testimony. My credit score is 800, and this is how yours can be 800 too. I'm taking a life coach class, because I've had a lot of, I don't think anyone has had an easy life. So I can't help somebody with their life until I complete mine first. So all the different things that I've been through in my life, I'm taking a life coaching class on Udemy. And this class was really cheap. It's like $30. There's over 300 like slides with this guy, and you get a certificate at the end. And I'm learning so much. And it brings me back to this book too. It's interesting. He talks about the same thing we're talking in this book. So it's funny to me how this came back full circle. I want to be able to help people with their lives. I'm learning about my health and eating right, and different herbs like colloidal silver and monatomic gold, and alkaline water, and just different, and earthing and grounding and different things, and yoga and meditation, anger management. And I'm also taking a sexology class that's going to tie into my womanhood. So I want to teach women about not just toys and safe sex, but Kegels and yoni steams. And you can get your own pap smear tools and be able to examine yourself. So just different things, that I've learned, testing your pH for not only your pee, but for your vagina. And I'm learning about men as well, but my focus is going to be on women and infertility, and then having a baby at home. I think I'm going to look into doula as well. But the things that I learned, I want to be able to share. And I think that's really what life's journey is. The battles that you've overcome in your life, the things that you learn, you just say, okay, package it all up, put it in a pretty box, and give it to someone. And give it to the whole world if you can. And I really just think that's what life is about. Everything else does it but us. The trees, their whole job is to produce fruit and stuff and air for us. Like, everything else in life is giving selfishly. And then it just seems like humans are the only ones that are taking. Like, I don't think we're going to get out of this dimension without following that law to give as well. Okay, so let me bring it back in. The next one says, the world needs your light, so please keep shining. And the next one says, be kind and gentle. Goodness is proof that you haven't wasted the tears shed and pain. Often life has shaped your path full of trouble and injustice. But if after walking this path you gain kindness to others, then it was a blessed path. Gentleness opens the ear of the other and calms the storm of the soul. Sometimes life has brought us shouts and tears, but that's the only way that we learn, and everything is in God's hands as you gain peace. Without inner peace, you can't be gentle with anyone. There's so much trouble between people. Wickedness wears so many clothes that you often fall silent. So wear just love. Kindness and gentleness are the cure. It's the world's gospel upon the world's wombs. Kindness and gentleness is the easiest way to make your fellow man feel value in your eyes. Be kind and gentle to those around you, as you have nothing to win or lose. Yet, at the deepest level of fulfillment and liberation, losing is freedom. Become your soul's expression. Be kind, be good, be loved. Nothing to lose. That was a good starting point, because when he was a psychiatrist, he gave one example of this woman. He just couldn't help her, and he just said, I'm just going to love her, and that ended up curing her. And I was just like, oh my God, that's amazing. So I've read through about 38 pages, and I'm just going to read you the things that I've highlighted, if I can get through just so far the things that I've highlighted. So on the first page, I highlighted each level of consciousness has its own view of life, view of God, view of self, emotion, and process. On a single chart, you see the entire world. It shows a path out of the pits of despair all the way to the state of enlightenment. Come out of the despair. Okay, I'm going to keep going. For Dave, the man who wrote this book, it was never about himself. He cared only about the message and its impact on others. I think that's what Creator is getting me to see. Because I even went on my brother's house the other day. I just went to play with the kids. I was asking my sister if she needed me to take the kids to school. I can do that. I reached out to my little sister. I was like, hey, if you need anything, let me know. So I think I'm just moving into the next phase where I'm just being of service. Because people have always been service to me. Like, I might not call or reach out or bug anybody because I just don't. I'll be in here reading and learning. But if I'm going through something and I call somebody, they're right there. And I really appreciate that. And it will be the same for me. But the thing is, I call people when I need help. But it seems like nobody calls me. So it's if they do need me and they haven't called me, shit, I don't know. I'm like a soldier. Tell me what you need me to do and I'll do it. And, but everybody just seems so strong. It's okay, well, I'm here if you need me. But I hope they know that, it could be 4 a.m. and you could be like, hey, I need you to do this. And I literally will do it even if I need to call out. Because that is how I show my love. So maybe service is my love language. I thought it was touch. Maybe service is my love language. I think I just realized that. Service. That's what it is. It's service. What can I do for you? It makes me happy when someone's like, hey, can you do this for me? And I'm like, sure. That makes me happy. I just bought my parents the bullet. It took me a while to get it because I'm just trying to take care of other things and getting ready to move and stuff. And I forgot I had a finger hut account. I was like, okay, I can buy them that on here, do the payment plan, and then send that to them because I don't want them to keep waiting for me to get it. And that makes me happy. So when my mom or dad calls me hey, we got your package, it's just gonna make me so happy. I think I bought everybody a Pandora bracelet that I know so far. The adults, I only did 2 kids so far, and those bracelets aren't cheap, but it makes me happy. Every time you put on that bracelet, you'll be thinking of me. So I just realized that service is my service and gifts. Okay, so I'm gonna keep reading. He developed the map so that we will understand why there are both low and high energies in the world, and why some people do horrible things while other people are purely loving. And it's going to be interesting to see those lower parts, because to me, energy is energy, just like air is air. Air could be hot, air could be cool, but at the end of the day, it's still air. Temperature is temperature. It can be hot, it can be cold. Water is water. It could be hot, it could be cold. There's different degrees. And so people are the same way. So you have some people that are 10% nice, so that means they're like more on the mean, stern side. And then you have people that are 10% mean. That can be they're happy, bubbly cheerleader, and they rarely get mad. So I think when it comes to friendships and relationships, when they talk about compatibility, I think it boils down to numbers, which is what is your degree, if your degree is close to mine. Because if I'm more of a morning happy person and you're more of a night grumpy person, there's really not a lot of middle ground for us to meet in the middle. So it's just funny that I'm learning all of this stuff. It would be, I know we can't change the past, but it would be interesting to go back in time with everything I know now, to relive the moments that I've lived with the knowledge that I have now. But then they say if you go back in time and you try to change things, it'll change the future. So who knows if those events would happen the same way with the knowledge that I have now, or maybe they would have not. You know what? They would not have happened at all. Because with the knowledge that I have now, I would not be interested in not a soul. Not a soul that I've been with to this point. Oh my God, that is so funny. They would not even be on my radar. Okay, so wow, that's so interesting. And that's okay. I accept all my moments. I met some amazing people, and I can't wait to revamp my book and put it out. Like I'm ready now. I'm ready to put some good energy and good feelings and good things in it, and then send it out, because it's a little dreary right now. It's more of it's like a burn book right now. I have like a lot of angry stuff. But see, shadow work is good for the soul. It really is. And isolation, and just being by yourself, and just learning yourself more, and doing what you want to do, and being true to yourself, and staying on your path, and not being distracted. And I don't know, it's like a good space. Like my 33rd year started out with a bang. Like I was like wild child, party hardy, crazy, drink, all this stuff, traveling. And I went from that to like meditation and yoga and exercise and learning. It's like a complete change. So as I'm going into 34, because I will be 34 in 2 months, I really like made a change. And I don't think I would have changed like this if it wasn't for Corona, to be honest. Because Corona really hit me with like the death of my first love. And then I already was on this conscious road, but like, boom, it was an explosion of like child trafficking and organ harvesting and like all this shit. And then I started learning about light things too, like there's other planets and there's other species and they visit us, and the whole Adam and Eve story was about the Anunnaki, and now this map consciousness, and how love can help the world. So it's just been like, what an experience. So I feel good going into 34, because I think this is the most growth that I've had in my life. That's so bad. This is the most growth that I've had in my life to date. Like, I think I've been like on a level playing field up until now, like doing the same thing. Like, yeah, I can work and pay my bills. I'm going to party and drink and stuff. But it was like no personal growth. There was no mental growth. It was just kind of like going through the day, going through the motion. Now it's like, no, I don't think that's good for my body. No, I don't want to do that. That's okay. No, I'd rather do this. I want to learn about this. I'm on this path. And if you want to join me, that's great. I try to share with people who want to listen, but I'm excited about bumping. I really think the future is going to allow me to bump into a tribe of people that are like-minded like me. People that are not going to get the COVID shot, people that meditate and do yoga, people that learn about these things. And I have a whole community online, so they're there. I know they're out there, but I don't know if I'm going to be moving. I put in a lot of applications, so if I do get a job somewhere else, I'm out of here, that's for sure. So I don't know if I'm going to meet those people here, if I'm going to move, but I'm just excited about where the future takes me. And that's another reason why I pulled back, because if I'm going to move, I'm going to be by myself anyway. So I need to get comfortable with like being truly on my own, really. So I'm kind of preparing myself for that. But it would just be interesting to have close people like, hey, you want to do some shrooms today? Or, hey, want to go to the nature park? Hey, you want to go to the river? So we'll see. I just put it out in the universe and see what happens. I'm going to keep reading. Okay, so I've never met anyone as driven as he was to do anything he could do to help others. That's why he created the map. He used it as a tool to inspire people to become more loving and compassionate. And that's the level that I'm at right now. So universe is like pushing me. I've been a little angry bird. Okay, so the map shows us that terrible things such as war actually serve a purpose. They help us to evolve spiritually. And I hate to say it, but I just said COVID kind of catapulted me on this upcline of growth that I'm experiencing, and I do not think it would have happened without this catastrophic occurrence. I really don't. So, so many people sacrificed their lives and died, and so many of us have progressed and advanced and awakened and stuff. So it wasn't in vain. Okay. People say the map helps them have compassion for humankind. They see that a lot of the world lives on the lower levels of consciousness, such as guilt, fear, and anger. And this means that such people can't help but lie, kill, and steal. Each level has its own reality. If you live on the level of fear and anger, that's how you act. Just knowing this helps us not to judge those who act in ways that seem strange to us. And I really needed that. I always say I don't understand. Like, that's my number one. Like my last episode, I said, what's wrong with people? Like, that really be my whole thing in life. Like, I don't understand. Like, it's really bad though, but let's say someone cheats on me, because I don't understand, it really bothers me. But if I understood, I would be more compassionate and stuff. I still probably in a relationship and move on, but just helping me understand where you're coming from and why it happened, that's good for me. Like, I need that. But I know you don't always get that in life. Okay, so let's see. Let me keep going on. Even if you're at the level of courage or above, you probably don't stay there all the time. Something comes up to test you. That's what the book is telling me too, that I feel like they're giving me a lot of good nuggets because a lot of tests are going to come. So hopefully I can remember that. Everyone goes through episodes of lower levels. For instance, after the death of a loved one, you might have a lot of grief to process or fear of the unknown. In the case of divorce, you might be angry for a while until it draws to you that you're actually better off without that person and that situation. As Dave writes in this book, life gives us trials. We're going through difficulties for a purpose. When we're right in the throes of the struggle, it's hard to see the meaning of it. So we have to have faith that there is an overall purpose to it. David taught me that we can ask, what's the purpose of this? We come to know that we're not, to the next page. That we're not alone in this. There's a higher power looking out for us to help us grow. Love brings up the opposite. This means that when we commit to love, to becoming more loving, life will bring us people who are difficult to love. I honestly feel like this has been my whole life. I've had enough of it. I don't want to love difficult people. I really, really don't. So yeah, this has just been interesting. Every action brings forth an equal and opposite reaction. So it almost feels like I should be an evil terror, and that'll I'll attract love. It's like it's so unfair. So because I'm loving, I have to attract difficult people. And I get the bigger picture. It's like you have so much love and joy and beauty. You know, you're going to bring that light to people, and you guys might not make it down the aisle. You might not be together forever. But when they go into their next relationship or whatever, they're going to be able to take a piece of that sunshine with them. And it's like, fuck that. It's like, great. So they got something out of it. But that just means I have an abundance of it. And, you know, I can laugh at it now, but it's not a good feeling all the time. Let's see. In all life's moments, learning occurs. Sometimes we're the teacher and sometimes we're the student. I say that all the time. I really do. In my last relationship, I literally told the person, like, you literally taught me so much. Like, thank you for being my... Like, I really saw the point of it. It was like, thank you for being my teacher. I think I just want to learn lessons to learn them. I don't want to learn lessons inside of relationships anymore. I'd rather just learn the lesson. I think it's easier to learn the lesson without emotions and physical connections and all that stuff. So I'd rather just learn the lesson, because I can do that effortlessly, but it's harder to detangle on the emotions and stuff. Like, I haven't mastered that part yet. So he said, a wonderful goal to live at is a level 500, which is love, but it's not easy. It may be easier to get there, but harder to stay there. He said, one level is not better than the other, because each level has its own responsibility. Just try to be as good as a person as you can be, and live in that space for as long as you can. I think that's beautiful. Like, to try to stay in that space as long as you can, meaning those trials are going to come, and just stay at that level. He said, if you have the capacity to be honest and not judge anything as high or low, you'll have a good self-understanding and an inner sense of where you are on the map. If you want to evolve, just look at where you can improve yourself. Be honest about your weakness. Maybe you are important and need to be kinder. Maybe you're impatient and need to be kinder. I think that's me. It's definitely me. Maybe you're attached or addicted to something and you need to have the courage to surrender. That's me. Maybe you're a doormat and need to stop letting people walk all over you. That's me. I like the saying, first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. Just because someone is family member or colleague doesn't mean you allow them to mistreat you. There's a lot of good nuggets in here. He said, learn to grow. Be humble and down to earth. Remember that when you are something, you don't have to say anything about it. It speaks for itself. So, you don't see commercials for very expensive cars saying, hey, I'm the most expensive car. Come get me. The people know about it. They go to those dealerships and they get those cars. They don't even need a commercial. So it speaks for itself. I thought this was interesting. He's the president of the Institute of Spiritual Research, and I want to look into that. This is his wife. Because I should have went to the school all along. I should have been at a spiritual school. I thought this was interesting. He said, God was looking around for a mind that wasn't thinking. I was just a channel in space that was empty. People see a body in a person and think that the person wrote the books, but that wasn't the case. It was like a violin. It can't play itself. It has to be played. So I thought that was good. And a lot of people say that God used him. And even in the Bible, it doesn't say that we are his hands and feet. This book talks about previous lifetimes. I thought that was interesting. I had a reading on one of my previous lifetimes, and it says that I was a dictator. And I still hate that to this day. Like, sometimes I feel like this is hell. Like, all of us have been so mean and evil in our past lives, and we keep coming back in hopes to get it right. And now when I see evilness and stuff like that, I cringe. So it's like maybe I've been on the dark side of life, so I don't like it anymore, which means I'm growing more on the light. And everything to me says love. So even though I don't remember my past lives, one thing that it wants me to remember that keeps sticking out is to love. Like, that's going to be my only way out of here, is to love. And it's kicking my ass right now. But I'm going to keep giving it a try. Because I can't seem to get away from it. And this was interesting. He said as a child, other kids seemed to bore him, and he would read Plato and Socrates and read Aristotle and listen to opera. Growing up, I used to love opera. We didn't have cable, so I used to look at PBS. A lot of educational things came on PBS, and I love ballet. I love opera. I thought it was pretty cool. It said at age 16, his belief in religion disappeared altogether. I thought that was interesting. Let's see. One day he prayed to whatever God there might be. I thought that was interesting. He said, in the state of non-duality, each living thing is aware of each other, and all things are interconnected, and the communication and harmony by means of awareness and by sharing the basic quality of essence of existence in itself. Nothing is better or worse, higher or lower than anything else. All sentient beings are equal. All things are intrinsically holy in their divinity of their creation. So that to me goes back to the law and power of one, like all for one and one for all. There isn't anything separate. You are there and me here. The old motivations of income and success are irrelevant. I've reached that point. I wanted success so much, and now it's like, I remember that quote in the Bible, why gain the whole world and lose your soul? Like, I think this is level 1 and death is level 2, and enough people don't prepare for death. I think life is just enjoy life and all the perks of it, but also prepare for your next life. Because death really doesn't exist, right? There's going to be another life. So all of the tools that you learn here, you can take with you to your next life. And if that was just being a wife, you're not really walking into the next life with much. If that was just being a mom, if that was just being a husband, if that was just being a dad, if that was just being a boss, you want to make sure you have a lot of tools in your toolbox for this next life. And I think spirituality gives you the most tools, if you ask me. I'm running out of time here. I'm going to see if I can skip through some more stuff. Let's see. So he left a multi-million-dollar business in New York, and I honestly think because he was healing people and stuff like that, I think the government and stuff like that is evil, and they start killing people, and I feel like he just walked away. I really do. And I think he put it in book format and like went across the world. Like, look, I can't really help y'all face to face, but if you read the book, you can help yourself. Because you notice they never burn books. They never stop people from printing books. But, you know, they can stop your practice. They can stop you. You know, they can kill you. Da, da, da. But it just seems like there must be something spiritual about books. And it says that he went into his hermit years. I like that. He said that your body obeys your mind. He was able to heal his body of many serious diseases through conscious methods. And again, that's why I feel like he stopped his practice. I feel like the government was like, hey, if you don't do XYZ, we're going to do XYZ. I really just don't. You guys do not know how much I do not trust the government. It said he had right brain consciousness and the healing of 15 different diseases within himself. You get what I'm saying? So he was healing these patients, and there's no way you're just going to stop a multi-million-dollar company. No, they had to shut him down. He was getting in the way of Big Pharma. And as I grow, I just started to pick up on that. Nobody can tell me that that isn't true. It's not in his book. Nobody told me. You know, I didn't hear it from source. I didn't see a movie or a clip or anything about it. But I just know in my hearts of hearts, that's what happened. And nobody can tell me otherwise. So that little gift inside of me is growing. Let's see. He said the body doesn't lie. Let's see. Everything in this world, including thoughts, concepts, and substances and images, calls forth a response that can be demonstrated as positive or negative. All that ever is or was, without exception, radiates forth a frequency and a vibration as a permanent imprint in the impersonal field of consciousness and can be retrieved by this test through consciousness itself. See? Yeah, they shut him down. They shut him down. Only a person with integrity was allowed to access the truth. And that reminds me of those staircases. Until you reach a certain point of integrity, you won't be able to find these answers. When you love someone, you support their destiny. I love my husband. That means I had to share him with the world. Somebody was giving her an interview, and even though he was supposed to be retiring, this is when he ended up touring until he died. And she said that was his gift and his calling. She didn't mind sharing him with the world. And that's a supportive partner. That's the type of partner that you want. She knew that his destiny was greater than her selfishness. He said, make a gift of your life and lift all mankind by being kind, considerate, forgiving, and compassionate at all times, in all places, and under all conditions, with everyone, as well as yourself. This is the greatest gift anyone can give. I think I teared up when I read that. It says his book has reached over 1 million people in more than 25 languages. One day, when I publish a book, I hope I can reach 1 million people in over 25 languages. That is amazing, y'all. Like, we only think about America and English. He printed this in over 25 languages. Over 1 million people. He did over 16 books and more than 100 lectures. And I only know about one of them. He basically said he's telling us what we already know deep inside. And that's beautiful. That's like not being arrogant. Like, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I'm just polishing you up a little bit. I think that's so sweet. Let's see. He said, let go of what you're not and become what you truly are. I like that. He said, seekers of the truth go through many stages. My life can attest to that. The initial stage occurs, for example, when people realize there's more to life than worldly pursuits. That's where I am now. Let me see if I can wrap this up. I'm running out of time. True knowledge is experimental. It comes from life lessons we have internalized in our hearts and our whole being. So you do have to go through stuff. That's the only way. Maybe that's the whole point of living life. Life puts you in scenarios that you live and you learn through them. You can't learn being a tree just sitting there. You know, they have their own things that they're doing. So the human life is to be in these different situations and to learn from them. Are we mice in a maze? Trying to find the cheese in the middle or trying to get out? I wonder. Let's see. We change the world not by what we say or do, but as a consequence of what we have become. That's beautiful. Love is so powerful, he says, that one loving thought a day cancels out all the negative ones. Greatness comes from within. As we change the world is changed. To me, that reminds me of so within, so without. There's so much darkness in the world because there's so much darkness inside. If you clear out the darkness inside of you, it'll clear out the darkness on the outside, which takes us back to one person having a high frequency helping so many other people because they are loving and kind inside, and then it's going outside of them to the other people. To love any single piece of life is to love all life, for everything is connected. The Power of Love. That's the next book I want to get. That was from a person that read The Power of Love. Thanks a billion for listening. You can reach me on other social media platforms at www.linktr.ee/luv.meesh. I hope you have a better than great day. Love ya. Talk to you later. Mwah. Bye. Go Mimi. It's the Meesha Podcast. Hey. Go me. Go Mimi.